Today I'm prepping the yard and garden for spring. Come see. Well, I think I finally believe that spring is here, so it's got me motivated. Today I went to the feed store, and one of the things I've discovered that are free and really effective is that in the back where they keep all the pallets and stuff, there's usually some cardboard on top. See, the feed companies get the pallet, put the square of cardboard on, and then stack up their tons of feed on top. So it keeps, it protects the bags from those hard edges on the pallet and keeps them from rupturing. So our feed store anyway has no use for the cardboard. So when I come and buy anything, I say, hey, I'm gonna gather up some cardboard too. So I lay the cardboard out in the garden to kill out weeds, making sure it overlaps, and then finish up with some rocks where they intersect so they don't blow away. Across the yard, I've got a pile of hardwood mulch, really thick, hard stuff that's not gonna break down into the soil anytime soon. I talked to the electric company out of a truckload when they were clearing along the lines this fall. So I've got a big pile of hardwood mulch that'll go on top of that cardboard later. You can see our stock tank raised beds are coming along. So maybe I should go out and buy some garden soil. I don't know, some of them are so big I just am putting it off. Until I get them filled with dirt though, they're a good place to pitch all the extra rocks, and we compost inside them until they finally fill up, and then we plant inside that. Yeah. This one is full of composted manure, yard, and kitchen scraps, and it's finally getting to the top. I probably put a lot of rocks in the bottom too. Here's some mulch I made the other day with some pine and boxwood and even leaves. I don't usually rake, but anyway, turned out nice. Something that I'm so excited about are these secondhand hedge trimmers I've got. So over at our little storage house that will someday be the bunkhouse or the mother-in-law house or whatever, I've got a ginormous hedge of currant that has just been going wild, and so I finally trimmed it up into kind of a box shape. And it was a lot of fun, but then to add to the fun, I took out my old mulcher. I think it was once owned by Fred Flintstone, and I mulched all that material that I cut. So win, win, win. Another place where the hedge clippers come in super handy is with the wild rose bushes. And we've been trying to reclaim this old homestead for about 10 years. So we're getting to, like, you know, I've got a good yard opened up now, and along the edges we're still kind of fighting back the forest. So those hedge clippers, wow, unlike just with pruners, you don't have to jump in there in the middle of them and get all scraped up. You just kind of make a swath, you know, cut the tops out, chop it up in all kinds of little pieces if you need to, but eventually cut them off at the ground unless there's some ginormous ones, and then of course you have to use the pruners. But wow, that made quick work of clearing a thicket of rose bushes. The whole garden is fenced in. It's cattle panel and then poultry wire to kind of try to keep some varmints out. Also the neighbors' cows that get out every now and then and ate all of our corn. But for a while it was also keeping our garden ducks in. Back to that in a minute. So that half that doesn't have all the raised beds, I would partition off halfway across the garden, and we raised a hog in there last spring. Spring? Yes. So I partitioned off half of the garden, the half that didn't have the container beds, and we raised a hog on that side. Kind of the idea of keeping that side open. Of course it's handy for the hog, and the hog can kind of work the ground But also, we leave it open so that we can make some row crops like corn and things like that. So the thing is, I'm having a hard time with the grass in it's kind of a big area, and it's too it's too after hogs and tillers and things for the mower. So what I really should do is get like a sheep or maybe a cow or a horse or something in there. I guess I could just till it up. Oh, hey. So, to the ducks. We had 5 garden ducks. We're down to 1 now, and I've put him to go live with the chickens. We keep the chickens cooped up usually. On a nice day like today, though, we let them out when I'm going to be out, and we're not going to be gone or anything like that. I knew I was going to be around until dusk, and that's when they'll put themselves to bed, and I can just close the gate then. So the ducks, our garden ducks. Apparently, our resident chicken hawk thinks that ducks taste just like chicken. So we're down to 1. So the idea of having the hog was, I really normally would have partitioned off that half of the garden maybe 3 ways with small little places where he could really work it over good, but for a short time, and then move him to another partitioned area. I let him run the whole thing, so he didn't really kill the grass up this time. It's too much, and yeah. But I was hoping, and he did, he made a nice hard wallow, which I've heard my dad tell, you know, if you've got a pond that doesn't hold water, run hogs in it. And sure enough, they pack that in, especially when you've got clay soil like us, until it holds water. So I wanted him to make a hard pack wallow so that the ducks would have a little place that holds water, because they were going to live in the garden. But now I've just got a hard packed hole in the garden and no ducks in it. So I really want to go for the cottage garden kind of thing where you've got fruits and vegetables and flowers and just like comfortable, homey places to gather, all mixed in, kind of, you know, not formal at all, but, you know, with paths and structure. So another thing is, in the spring, it's time to cut back that ornamental grass, all the dead stuff that, you know, was interesting throughout the winter, but you need to cut it out so it won't shade out the new growth. So I cut off our ornamental grasses and divided them, and then replanted them along here, along the rock wall between the treehouse and the playhouse. So it'll be a really cool screen one of these days between the play area and the yard. And you know, they're all different types, and they've got pink fuzzy things, and they've got stripes and dots, and it'll be really cool. So I know when the weather gets spring-like like this, I can't help but get out there in it. What are you doing as spring motivates you? Or what are you planning on doing perhaps this weekend? Tell me down in the comments. I do want to hear. I don't just say these things to hear myself talk. Life is what you make it. Let's get our hands dirty. So if you're not subscribed, it's free, you know. So click on this little circle with my face on it, and you'll get updates every time I make a new video. And it just makes it easier that way. Yeah. And share these videos. It helps out a lot. Actually, then the new YouTube algorithm is real funky, and I'm getting less views for some reason. So help a brother out and share. Okay? Or go back and watch and rewatch. That's cool too.